I know it's a snowy day. A lot of us are stuck at home, stuck in our houses, stuck in our living rooms on TV, stuck, in our bedrooms, wherever you like to hang out in your house. But I hope you're having a very comfortable Sunday, a very warm Sunday. I know it's cold outside, but I hope you're enjoying your time in your house with your family because it's dangerous there. It's still snowing out there. It's a lot of snow. I know I posted how the roads look like in the morning, but it's so much higher now because the snow did not stop. And they don't have enough manpower, enough snow plows, enough people to clear the snow. But eventually it will be cleared, right? As long as everyone is staying safe and everyone is staying well in their homes. And also, the temperatures are like below freezing. And I just hope everyone is staying warm. It's been a day where it's Sunday, so most people are home on Sundays if you don't have to work. Most people are home, the kids are home. And a lot of kids don't have school tomorrow. My kids don't have school. The school, they canceled everything. And the kids are so happy. They're like, "Ugh, we don't have to go to bed early. We don't have to worry about school tomorrow." They're just enjoying the time off, but at the end of the year, they will have to make it up. So the kids will definitely have to make up the fact that they don't have school. I know school get out around early June, so they'll have some additional days where they have to stay. So yeah, it's been a very for the past week or so, we've been getting snow like every week. Last year we barely got any snow, and this year it's like every week we're getting snow, and I don't know what's going on with the environment. Hi guys, how are you tonight? I don't know what's going on with the environment. Please don't forget to like my live when you come into the chat. Now, yeah, it's just still snowing. I've been inside. I opened my door. I walked in the garage. It's below freezing. I opened the door. It's just ridiculous. I hear people out there cleaning their snow at night. I guess it's smart to do that because you don't want it to be extra, you don't want it to be extra high in the morning when you're trying to clean it. So there's snow over other places, but this snow is a lot. I haven't seen this much snow in a very long time. It's been snowing all day from around 8:30 in the morning, and it's still snowing. And the snow, it doesn't look heavy. It looks like light, flurry, but it's heavy because I was out there this morning. It was like icy snow coming down on me. The snow plows, they cleaned the roads, and then it didn't look like they cleaned anything because the snow is so much. Hi, Chameleon Kid, how are you? It looked like they did not clean the roads. It just, it's a lot. But I normally open my door and look outside or even go outside. But it was too cold for me to head outside today. It was like so cold for me to head outside. So, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. I hope your day is going well. I hope you're staying warm. I hope everything is going well for you. Now, the topic of the day was pretty much, there's so much going on in the economy that it's just, I know we're staying light on the topic of the day, but what's going on in Minnesota with, ICE is just crazy. And what's going on all over the world. It's just crazy what's happening in the US. But I'm trying to keep it light, but I know there's lots of heavy things that we really need to talk about. I remember someone in my life said we need to talk about political genocide, and that's true. Like, look at what's happening in the world. It's not good. And I believe people are being bullies. Our leaders are being bullies. They're bullying countries, they're bullying the citizens. You can't talk a certain way, you can't look a certain way, you can't have an accent. If you have an accent, then it's a problem. You're targeted. I heard a 5-year-old was taken into detention. A 5-year-old. What does a 5-year-old have to do with anything? I'm sure the 5-year-old was born here, but because you couldn't get their parent to take the 5-year-old into detention, that is pretty much sick to me. But that's another topic that we need to talk about. But those things were on my mind today. So they were heavy on my mind. So I had to mention them. If you don't look a certain way, then you cannot be in this country. But the thing is, Americans are everywhere. Americans are in other countries. So what if other people treated Americans the way other cultures are being treated today? It's not good. If Americans can go in other countries and stay there, then other cultures and other people should be able to come here too. If they're not doing anything wrong, if they're not causing havoc, if they're not, doing crime, I don't see what the problem is. So, but that's another topic here, another topic for another day. Okay. Hi guys, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Don't forget to light my live when you come in. Don't forget to light the live when you come in. Please, I really would appreciate it if you light the live when you come in. Don't forget to light the live, guys. So the topic of the day is that we're trying to, you know, the topic of the day, which I hear all the time, is that we have no good men out there. There's no good men out there. So you like this, no, Nero? Thank you, me. Oh, you like my life. Thank you, Nero. Thank you for being supportive because you're always here and you like my life, and I appreciate that. I really do. Thank you for being so supportive. So the topic of the live today is, you know, the myth that there are no good men out there. Like, there's no good men out there. And I believe that's false. And I have these discussion with a lot of women that all men are bad and all men cheat, all men do this, all men do that. And I don't think that's true. I believe there's a lot of good men out there. It's just the bad outweigh the good. The bad men and the bad habits of certain men outweigh the good. So a lot of people, women are, they're cautious about men and they don't have faith in men. But they have a lot of men who are very supportive of their kids. There's have a have a lot of men who, when their kids go to a sports event, they're there. They go to every practice, they go to every sport event, they go to every school event. They have a lot of men who, if their kids are in tutoring, they're gonna be there. They have a lot of men if their kid is, they're just supporting for their kids. They have men who, they don't cause chaos for their family, they cause peace. they're very supportive to their spouses or their wife. You know, they just know where to fill in, know where to balance. If your wife is doing this, then they'll help their wives. You know, there's men who just they just know where to step in and what to do. Yeah, Near, I know that. And we're talking about good men. So it's yeah, he's not a good one. So he's not a good one. But I feel like men have, you know, men have good and bad qualities. You know, in order to be a good man, you have to be a good father to your child. There's a lot of people who they birth kids, but they're not present. They're not there for their kids. You have to be present as a man. You know, a good man, you have to be present. You have to treat your kids good. Of course you're going to have ups and downs with your children, but you have to treat your kids good in order to be a good man. You cannot be good to a woman and then bad to your kids. That doesn't go hand in hand. I know some men, they're good to women, you know, but they're terrible with their kids, and some men, they're terrible with women and they're good to their kids. So right. Certain people, they will think they're good, certain men, because people have not told them. And there's also men who they're good outside to other people. They'll portray a different personality outside to other people, but they in their household, they're terrible. They're like terrorists in their household. You know, when you hear certain things happen, like a man do something, maybe he unalive his wife or something, or he abuse his kids, he'll act perfect outside, and people when they're on the news, you hear the neighbors are like always, I'm so shocked, you know, he looked like a nice person, he couldn't have done that, who couldn't have done, because some men, I think that's the definition of a narcissist, like they act certain way with different types of people. Right. You have to treat your kids good when they're young. You know, you have to treat your kids when you're good when they're young, because they'll remember that. They'll have a lot of trauma. And how you treat your kids as a man will determine their confidence, especially a male to father ratio. The man must treat his son a certain way, because your son is pretty much looking up to you. So the way you treat your son is, if you treat your son horrible and you yell at your son, call names to your son, and call your son names, expect your son to do that to other people, to other women, or that will be your son's temperament. Because if you're a man, your son, whether you treat him bad or not, he's looking up to you. You're like a mirror to your son. Okay. Yeah, they're right. And it's hard when you have a parent that's a narcissist, a father, a man that's a narcissist around you. You have to separate yourself from him, because they're not going to change. It's hard for those, unless those people get medical help, they're not going to change, because in their mind, they're okay. No one can tell them anything. They're very egotistical. Everything is all about them, and it's their way or the highway. So, people like that, is very difficult for them to change. Hi, how are you? Do you guys want to go on live? Oh, Nira, I'm so sorry. You know, I sometimes witness that with people, you know, man, especially in the Jamaican culture, the men are very tough, so they will call names to their sons or daughters, and they don't know how much hurt they're doing, how much lack of confidence they're killing their kids, or, you know, they're killing their child's confidence. They're killing their kids' confidence, and you can't kill your child confidence. I'm good, Naomi. How are you? You cannot kill your child's confidence. You have to build them up, because your kids are a reflection of you, and your kids are your legacy. Your kids are your legacy. They carry your name. And I feel like that's why a lot of kids or children, they will separate themselves from their parents because of how their parents treated them. And some men, some men are just very good husbands. I don't know how they were raised. They were good husbands, guys. They're very good husbands. They know how to take their wives out on dates. They know how to give their wives gifts, whatever holiday. If that's their relationship, they just know, like, they know how to relieve the burden off their wives. And I feel like a lot of men are waiting later to get married, or to wait later to settle down. Later they normally they get their self together first, and then they get married or in a relationship. I feel in order to be a good man, you must know yourself, get yourself together first, and then you get in a relationship. If you don't have confidence about yourself, and you don't feel good about yourself, then do not get in a relationship, because that will hinder your relationship. Right, Nero. I do understand, because my husband is very strict, and I tell you, I have all boys. So sometimes, you see that. I think men think because boys are boys that they have to be strict with them. And I think they're trying their best, right? So they're trying to teach them to be tough, so they act a certain way. But you cannot teach a boy to be tough by abusing them or punishing them for little things, because you know what? We're all humans. We're all humans. Boys make mistakes. It's okay for a boy to break a toilet. It's okay for a boys are gonna kick a ball to a hole. They'll do stuff, you know my son, he had an electric scooter. He was told not to ride the electric scooter in the house. Guess what he did? He drove the electric scooter in the house, and then right in the wall, dent in the wall. So of course he's gonna get in trouble. But sometimes when boys are very boys are very they're risk takers. They don't care about their punishment, some of them. So they do things without thinking. And I think that it matures into a man, because I feel like most men are like that. Some men, they'll do things without thinking about the consequences of their actions. So sometimes they get punished for that. So, but you don't have to punish a child for making such a mistake. You can talk to them, have a conversation saying, that's not how you do things. If you're told to follow a certain rule, you're supposed to follow it. You're supposed to follow, because boys are difficult. They are. I hear it from a lot of people. I have boys, and it's a lot, but I'm not that parent to verbally abuse my boys, or I don't really beat. But we're talking about men. The men might be a little bit different, because what do you mean? Okay, can you explain? Okay, I get it. So we're talking about, I get it. Okay, I'm reading between the lines. Okay, okay, so let's talk about the topic. I think it falls well within the topic, though. It falls well within the topic about, are there any good men? And I feel like, yes, they do have good men out there. Okay, they have good men out there, and I can't talk much because there's men in my house. But they do have good men out there, but they're very hard to find. That's what I would say for women who are single, or in dating. If you're looking for a good man, you just have to have patience. Look at the qualities that you want, and and then, no, I think he's just joking. He's a nice guy. Nero. So look at the qualities. Hi, Solomon. How are you? Look at the qualities, and then Look at the qualities, and then you'll know whether a man is good or not. But a good man, he doesn't want chaos, he wants peace. A good man, he he will build your confidence. A good man is not going to call you names. A good man is not going to I'm doing good today. A bit cold and busy, but a good man will, make you feel like a princess. A good man will They're just good. A good man, they just understand a woman, you know. I always say I have not dated a good man, but I have dated men who have changed their ways, They cuz I can't talk too much on here, guys. If I always say that to my friend, like I don't really know a good man that I've dated due to the things that I've been through, but people have changed. To me, a definition of a good man would be somebody that have a male version of myself, because I feel like I have great qualities. So if the man if I met like this a version of myself in a male form, that would be like the perfect guy to me. And that is really funny. I say that all the time, but there's a lot of people who they don't cause chaos, they cause peace. A lot of men who, you know, they're just good. They're good to their wives. They don't verbally abuse their wives. If their wives gain weight, they don't talk about their weight gain. If their wives, you know, want to advance their career, they're very supportive. If their wives, thank you so much, Solomon. We're talking about, well, the topic won't be about men, good or bad, but today we're talking about good men, men that are good. So all the bad men, we're not talking about them. We're portraying good men. And you can answer the question, do you guys feel like you're good men? And if you don't feel like you're a good man, sorry. If you don't feel like you're a good man, why do you think you're not a good man? What qualities do you think you need to fix? What qualities do you need to fix in order to be a good man? I have an uncle, he was such a good man. He took care of everything in his house, he did everything. And ultimately, did the relationship last? No, it didn't. So whether you're good or bad, sometimes if you're not meant to be with someone, the relationship don't last. What do you think a good man needs to do in order to fix himself? A good man need to, work on yourself, get to love yourself first in order to fix yourself. Fix yourself first, get to love yourself first. And if you can fix your qualities, work on your qualities. If you need to fix yourself, whether whatever financially, then work on what you need to in order to be a good man. I don't think find money is considered a good man, but if you don't have money, yes, it probably will be difficult to wine and dine a girl. And a woman needs to be wined and dined. They need to be wined and dined. A woman needs to be wined and dined, because if you can't wine and dine a woman, then she's gonna think you're a bad man. Because women need gifts. They need to be appreciated. They need to be loved. And a man giving them, you don't have to give them money, but you have to do things with a woman to make her feel loved, like take her on a date, buy her gifts. And every woman is different, but according to me, that's what I consider a good man. And if you're not taking me on a date, if you're not buying me gifts, if you're not whining and dining me, then to me, that's not a good man. Because if you meet a woman and she can do whatever she wants for herself, and then you come in as a man and then you can't meet her standards, you can't do the simple things that she require, then you don't have qualities of a good man. Okay, Solomon, go ahead and express what qualities, what qualities. If a man does not wine and dine a woman, they don't have qualities. There are men also who they like to be manipulators, and they like to be manipulators. They like to cause chaos. I remember someone on here said he likes to be toxic. A good man doesn't like to be toxic. A good man is like a leader. He sets an example. He doesn't like to be toxic. He brings peace. Remember, what you bring to a woman, then she'll bring it to you. Okay. Yeah, a woman definitely loves a guy that gives her money. Most women like that. They like a guy that gives them money. They like a guy that wine and dine them. You know, some of us have not met men have good traits and bad traits. But I feel like women are, they're assessing guys more. They're not just jumping into relationships. And so they're definitely getting the guy that they want, like the good man that they want. And that's pretty dope that they're getting the good man that they want. They're not rushing into relationships, because I think people are more conscious of, what type of partner they want. And for men too, you have to also look for a good woman, because okay, Solomon, what are the characters that you may have? What are the characters what you may have? I agree with that, Solomon. A good man does have integrity, and they do things when no one is lacking. I think a good man is honest. Most men who are good, they're honest, they don't lie, and that falls into integrity. They tell the truth, they don't hide things. A good man is very humble. Most good men, they're humble, they don't brag and boast, because that's not a part of their character. They don't brag or boast. A good man also is, sometimes he's very funny. He'll make you laugh, he'll make you laugh. He has character. A good man also will fight for you, not in like a negative physical fight, but they'll stand up for you if people are being, if he fights for injustice. So if something is going on that's not right, he'll speak up for you, or he won't let people bully you. So a good man also, you're right, most good men, they have money because they know that they have to help people. They have to help women. They have to help their children. They have to help their family. So they understand that they have to do that. You know, they have character. They're just different. They're just a aura about them. There's just a aura about them. And I feel like the world is teaching, you know, toxic. And good men don't want to be that. They have respect. You are so right, Solomon. They respect women. They respect their elders, friend. They're just people that when you hear about them, when you talk about that person, you're only going to hear all good things. You're not going to hear any bad things about that person. And I'm not saying a good man doesn't have a flaw because we're all not perfect. But overall, when you hear about that person, it's gonna be all good things. Even if he broke up with a woman, the relationship didn't work. You might not hear the woman talk anything negative about that person. Guys, sorry about that. I don't know why I did that. You might not hear the woman will talk nothing negative about that person. So it's just you hear it's always good. They stand, you're right, Solomon. They stand up for women, elders, friends. They won't curse at a woman. They won't, they won't disrespect. They're not womanizers. Good men are not womanizers. Good men are not going to have kids all over the place. They're not going to have kids with this woman and that woman. Um, and I'm not saying that a guy can't make a mistake, but if he does that, he'll learn from their mistake. And there's men who they're not that great, but then they learn as they grow older, they change their ways, which is okay. We have grace for people like that, right? They change their ways as they grow older. Yes, I do know Will I am. Right. Solomon, you're explaining, right, Solomon, you're just so true. He takes on his mistakes, right? Because a good man is a person as well. He will definitely have, make mistakes just like everyone else, but he'll own up to it and he will apologize and he'll, change his ways. So, yeah, there's a stigma that the world have no good men and that, you can't find a good man even in our black community. And to me, it's false. It's false. And a lot of people keep saying, all men are the same. All men are not the same. They have men who they care about their character, they care about how they're portrayed. They were raised, even there's men who are raised in single household, two-parent household. They just care about how they act, how they treat others, and how they care about their legacy on this earth, on this planet. They care about their legacy. And most of these men are leaders also. They're leaders because I feel like good men, they want to make a movement to help other men become good men. They want to lead society. They want to teach, younger boys to become good men. They normally want to help their communities. They normally want to build something that will improve the youth, improve the future, improve our world. So, right, he's very honest. He speaks the truth even when he's uncomfortable. So, a lot good men are that. They speak the truth. They are not, two-faced. They're not storytellers. They're fighting for a cause. They're fighting for a cause. They're fighting for a cause. They don't play games. They're very mature. They're very, very mature and they don't play games. They don't play games with women and they just don't play games. I feel like when you're young, maybe I'm not saying you can play games, but if you did play games, as you get older, you learn from your mistakes. To me, that's a good man. It's a good person. They learn that, oh, maybe I hurt someone back then, and I don't want to do that again. I don't want to do that again, you know? Maybe I hurt someone and I don't want to do that again. So, and they we have a lot of good men in the world. We do. We have a lot of good men. Maybe we don't have a good man leading our world right now, definitely not, but there's a stigma. But ladies, there are good men out there. There are good men that will support you, that will help you, that will uplift you. I let you guys know that the friends, the male friends that I have, they're very, very good men. They just want positivity. I don't know what goes on in their relationship, but what I see on the outside, like as a friend, they uplift women. They want women to be good. They want the world to be good. So I suggest that you guys strive to be good men and strive to uplift the world. Yes, yes, Solomon. A good man. Yes. I so true. Yep, they have self-control. They control their anger and their desires and ego. Like I mentioned before, they're very humble people. They're not womanizers. They they don't call people. A good man would not call his wife out of her name. He would not call his mom, sister, nobody. He carries himself with a certain aura, with dignity, integrity. He he's just have that aura, and they're not scarce. Well, they probably are scarce because a lot of women have grabbed up those men. A lot of women pretty much grab up their men because they know. And I feel like a lot of good men, people think they're friend zoned a lot because a lot of women think they're soft, or that, oh, he's too good. He doesn't do this. He's not good. He doesn't do that or that. But that's not true. He's just a good guy and he carries himself a certain way. Hi, Rana. Have a good night. So he just carries himself a certain way. And I feel like he strives to lead. They have a lot of, programs to teach men how to be good men. They do. I feel like they have it here. Yeah, a lot of nice guys are friend zone, and to me, a lot of the nice guys are considered the good men because they're probably the ones who are not gonna cheat on you. They're not gonna have women all over the place. They're going to carry themselves with integrity. They're not going to lie and play games. So a lot of those men are normally friend zone, and you can look it up. A lot of good guys are friend zone a lot, but a lot of them are grabbed up because some women in these times, they're right. You're right. They're very kind and they're compassionate and they have empathy for others, and we need more of these men. We need more of these men out there, to lead the world, to lead us, because what's happening in the world, you need good men that will stand up for injustice and stand up for the community, stand up for America so that our country can be led in the right way. So, a lot of women will friend zone these guys and then go for the bad guy and then later on say, "Oh, I learned my lesson." Yes, you will learn your lesson because somebody else will see that man as a catch and grab him up. Someone will see him as a catch and grab him up. So when you're teaching the youth, the young men, the young boys, you have to teach them how to be good men. We're not teaching them how to be pushovers, but they have to learn how to be good men to women. And there's boys who they have mothers, they're raised by mothers, and they still they do crazy things to women or crazy things to other elders, and you have to teach a lot of boys, or even you have to teach the youth how to be respectable, how to be nice, how to be humble, how to have those traits, because I think those traits will help the future. It will help the world. I feel like now a lot of women are going for the nice guys. They're not going for the guys who are bad boys or thugs. I feel like a lot of women want the men that are nice guys that they know will take care of them, will support them. A lot of good guys, they'll talk to you, they're loyal, they will provide emotional support. And a lot of women need that. They need emotional support. They need someone who will know, like, if they're having a bad day, they're gonna be there. Right, right. So, Manisha, I'm sorry. Um, right, you're right. Good men, like I mentioned, they're loyal. They don't play games. They're loyal to everyone that they considered friends, family, foe. They're very loyal people. What changed, Nero? I just feel like in 2026, women are going for the good men and the nicer guys. Women are not going for what you consider the bad boys, because I feel like it's a headache to them. And a lot of women want peace. They want to be taken care of. They don't want that stigma of bad boy, because it's a lot of headache. Unless that woman is toxic herself, that woman is toxic herself, then yes, she will not go for the nice guy. Right. Good men are very straightforward. You're correct. And a good man is they're good with family, they're good with money. They just have an aura, because they're trying to build their family, they're trying to build the future, they're trying to build the community. They're trying to build a community, they're trying to build up. They're loyal. They have a friend group that the friend group know that this man is a good person. Yes, they're hardworking because they know they have to provide. And most of these men, they believe in the creator. They believe in the creator. You're right. He does not take shortcuts. So we all have some of these men in our life that we know. I know there's a lot of people online that they bash men, especially black men. And we have good black men in our community. We have men who are very upstanding men. We have men who are very, they fight for injustice. They love their family. They love the youth. They want to change. They want to change. They want to change, and yes, God, their creator. It's hard for a man to be a good man if he doesn't believe in a creator, because what will he follow? Yes, what will he follow? If What will he follow? So those are the traits that you guys need to possess in order to be a good man. So humility, a good man learns, listens, and doesn't think he's above others. Very much so. That's why I said most good men are very humble. They're not egotistical. They're not narcissists. They're good people. They're good men. They have an aura. They strive to be good. They strive to help. So I feel like the stigma that no good men are out there is just false. And I'm a female, I'm saying that it's false. The stigma that no good men are out there is just, it's not. is false to say every man is a bad man. Every man is not a bad man. There's a lot of men who have those qualities, very good to their family. You can just see it. He works hard, he provides for his family. He won't call his family names. He just stands up for his wife and stand up for he stands up for his wife and stand up for his community, his children. A good man listens, he'll listen to you, and he tried to make a change to adjust. Communication is key in a relationship, and some men, they just don't listen. They don't listen. You can tell them, you can talk to them until you're blue in the face about what you want them to do. Okay, right. A good man words matches actions over time. It does. A good man matches actions over time. What I was saying, a good man listens. So if a man who listens is definitely a good man, because if a man has a problem and you express your concern about how they act, for instance, if a guy, he talks to you a certain way and you say, "Oh, I don't like that," and he does not listen to you, he doesn't change or try to correct his behavior, he just continued to do his bad behavior. To me, that's not a good man, because he doesn't care about your. Yes, that was my son. I know he's big. But yeah, a good man a good man listens. And to me, as you get older, you deserve a good man. If you're a good, most females are good if you're not toxic. You deserve a good man. You deserve a good partner. So based on the traits that she just listed, then you have to have those traits, those attributes in order to be a good man. If you don't possess those attributes, then you're not a good man. I'm sorry. So try to strive to be those attributes. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to have those attributes. You have to have empathy. You have to be a good listener. You have to be good with money, because if you're not good with money, how will you provide for your family? You can't cause your family to be in a strife to, you know anything could happen, emergency can happen. If you're a man who likes to gamble your money away or have different women and spend your money on them, then no, you're not considered a good man. If you're bad with money, you're not considered a good man. Per Google, you're not. What else? To listen, change your ways. Yes, have patience. A good man have patience. Understand that growth, love, and yes. Understand growth, love, and success take time. That's so that you said that. That's so true, because sometimes a man will get frustrated. He'll take it out on his family, he'll take it out on his friends, he'll take it out on his parents, because he's not where he needs to be. His success level is not where it needs to be, or whatever goals that he needs to accomplish is not where he needs to be at this time. And you have to have patience. You have to have patience. You can't turn to substances, abuse yourself. Have patience in yourself. Your Remember, I always say your life is your legacy. If you don't have patience, you don't have patience, you won't get where you want to be. And a good man know that. They don't complain, they don't get angry. They wait, they follow their steps and their tasks to get to their goal. good man angry in yourself because he loves you. A good man doesn't get angry at you. A good man have patience. Right. They take accountability. If you don't take accountability for your actions, how can you grow? How can you become a better person? If you are making a mistake and, you know, you blame others for all your wrongs, then your mistakes will never get corrected. You'll never be able to elevate and uplift yourself. You have to take a look in the mirror and take accountability for who you are and what you do. Once you take accountability, you'll be able to grow. And you'll see that a lot of men will stay in the same spot. They'll stay stagnant for a long time because you're not taking accountability for your wrongs. You're not taking accountability for your actions. So you will not progress. So take accountability. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to say, yes, I was wrong. It's okay to apologize and move on. If someone wins the lot, okay, a good man is good with money because a good man is trying to uplift his family, uplift the community, and uplift himself. Most men who, have, I'm not saying all men with money are good men, but the men who are good men with money, they want to help their community. There's a cause, they help others. You know, some people who have money, like people will say, "Oh, he was a good man. He did this for me and that for me." If you have money and say a family member needs help, you're able to help them, your family, your household. You have security for your family. Right, Solomonisha. So, yes, I talk about all that all the time. Emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence comes with a man being patient, a man being, kind, a man listening. You have to control your emotions and you don't get upset easily. And patience. If you understand your emotions, then you'll have patience. You won't anger easily. And you'll also take accountability for your actions. So, being in tune with your emotions will help you become a good man, a better man. Because once you know who you are, you're emotionally intelligent, then you're able to listen. You'll have patience. You won't get angry. If you do get angry, you walk away. You don't take it out on your spouse. You don't take it out on your friend. You're able to take a step back and work on yourself, work on your emotions. And then when you take a step back and think about why you're angry, what happened, then you can go have a conversation with the person that you're angry at. That's emotional intelligence. You have to work on not flipping out. Your kids may do something, your spouse may do something, but work on not getting angry right away. You have to think about why are their actions affecting you and how can you help your family? Because a real man is the head of the family. He is the leader, so he's the glue to his family. What do they say? He's the common denominator to his family. Yes, a good man shows up. Yes, he shows up. A man that's good will always show up. And if they can't show up, they'll let you know why they couldn't show up or what happened. And sometimes if they can't solve the problem, they'll reach out and find someone to help solve the problem. He shows up and he's there for his family and his friends. You know, a good man is just that they're good. They take accountability for their actions. They have emotional intelligence. They have patience. They're not egotistical, and they may have it all, but they're not going to flaunt it. They're not going to be flashy. They're not egotistical. They're honest. They won't cheat on you. they'll they're not going to cheat on you. They're not going to embarrass you in front of your friends. Like a good man is, they care about their character. They care about what people, not saying that you should care about what others think. You should walk in your own way and have your light, but certain things they won't allow because they care about how they're perceived in the public. Yes. And a good man will let people know if he has a good wife, if he has a good family member, he'll express it. And a good man will never let his wife feel less than, and he'll never belittle his wife. And he will not allow people to belittle his wife either, or his kids, or his any of his family member. He won't gossip with anybody about his family members or his wife. He they just have a different aura. They're leaders. Most good men are leaders. People look up to them. And you guys know people look up to these good men. They just carry themselves and assert themselves in a certain way. Yes, a good man does appreciate what he yes, you're right. A good man appreciates what he have. He doesn't take advantage of the women or friends in his life. You know, he appreciates what he have and he shows that appreciation. Right. And when you're a good person, Rana, it does increase love. It like you have when you are a good person, a good man, you'll attract good people. I'm telling you. Why do you think good men they continue to grow and elevate? Once you're good to people, good man, you will elevate. You will elevate, you'll rise. That money that you're hoping for, it will come in tenfolds. Because you carry yourself a certain way, people will want to work with you. Businesses will want to work with you because they just see that in you. You'll bring success to their company. You'll bring success to them. Right. A good man doesn't hold grudges. He doesn't. And most men, I think, they don't hold grudges. A good man doesn't hold grudges. He will not curse you out in front of he will not curse you out in front of friends. He whatever secrets you give, you let him know, he'll keep that secret. No grudge. If he's angry, and that goes in with also emotional intelligence. If he's angry, he's going to talk about it. He's not going to just hold a grudge. He's going to let you know what bothers him and how you can fix the problem. He'll let you know where the issue was and how you can correct the issue. And that I feel like that comes also when you're emotional intelligent, you don't hold grudges, and all the qualities that we're listing here for good men, it comes with maturity. Most good men are mature. They know who they are, and they know who they are. They have walked, they have grown, they have made mistakes, they have taken accountability for their mistakes, and they're good men now. They're good men. They'll show up. Right. They'll show up. They'll show up for their family. They'll show up for their friends. you know and I feel like a lot of good men have friends. They have a circle of friends that they have, because you know what, they're gonna uplift their friends if they become successful. If you see certain men, once they're successful, their friends will rise with them, because those are good men. Once they're successful, their family will rise with them, because they're good men, they're good people. So we're uplifting these men because they're good. And you know what? They are a prime example of how men need to be. Men need to have empathy, don't hold grudges, have emotional intelligence. They need to uplift their family. Don't talk reckless to their wives or girlfriends. Don't mishandle money. Don't mishandle money. And we are so happy that we have Salamanisha in the live today. And I'm sorry if I'm saying your name right wrong. Just type your name, hon, and let me know how to say it. But I'm happy that we have you in the live today because you list a lot of qualities, and those are the qualities that I saw on Google about good men. And some of us have good men in our lives, and some of us have never met good men in our lives. So, for females who are out there looking for good men, those are the qualities that you should definitely look for. And there's a stigma that there's no good men out there, and it's a lie. There are men out there with these qualities that are waiting for you to find them. For all the single females and for all the males on my live, try to possess those qualities. The lists are there. Try to be a good man. Try to bring peace to your family. Try to bring peace in your, oh, Solomon Aleni Aishea from Nigeria. That's a nice name. Yeah, so you're from Nigeria. So you're very informative and very informative with this topic. So I'm so happy you're here. Thank you for coming on today because that will help a lot of people, a lot of men. It will help men to, to possess those qualities. And if you don't have those qualities, work on yourself. And we're not saying that you're turbo men because anyone can change. You can change. We know that you're human. So the traits that Solomon listed, then you guys should try to possess those traits in order to get a woman. And a lot of us want peace. No one wants problems. And if you're a guy who you think having multiple women is you're a good guy, just because you have multiple women and you're giving money to both of them, you're not a good guy because you're manipulating those women. Try to be loyal, try to be an upstanding guy because the world needs that. You see what's happening in the world today, what men are doing to the society, to the United States. So try to be a good man, try to possess these qualities, you know, try to do that. They're faithful and loyal, they're upstanding, they have integrity, you know, and I just know a few. A lot of us don't know a lot of good men, but a lot of us have never crossed paths with good men. But they're out there. May our brothers or husbands or friends all be good men. May they look at this list, all this list that you have, and may they, try to possess them. We just hope that you try to possess all the qualities that you'll have. Yeah, all the qualities. Yes, and a lot of men, you have to be a good father in order to be a good man because if you're not a good father, if you don't put your family and kids first, then how can you say that you're a good man? And for a man who's comfortable with not having these traits, You should work on it because there's no reason for you to live on earth and be a bad man. You're supposed to respect women. You come from a woman. So why not respect a woman? You come from a woman. Respect a woman and know that women are number one. Your kids are number one. You're supposed to respect them. You're supposed to respect society, respect yourself, set a legacy. Set a legacy for yourself and set a legacy for your children. Hello, how are you? Set a legacy for yourself and for your children. And I feel like a lot of women are waiting longer to get married because they're trying to find men with these qualities and with these traits. And it's happening. More women, more marriages are lasting, and more men are waiting to have qualities to become good men. Most men want to become good men. A lot of men are not happy with being bad men because that's why they're miserable. That's why they lack empathy. That's why they have no emotional intelligence. A narcissist man is not happy on earth. They do crazy things. They do crazy things. And they don't want to do that. They want to be good men. They just need the tools. And I feel like if you're on here and you're able to do a workshop or anything to help these men become good men, then do that. Do a workshop. Do something to help men. They have a lot of programs that help men to become better men. They have a lot of programs. And I like that. People are trying to help men, they're trying to help them to become better. You know? They're trying to help men become better, and men themselves are trying to become better. So we're in a society where we need men to become better because they're leaders, they're providers, they're the rulers of of the world. So we need them to be good men. And these men are also balanced. They're balanced men. They know that they have friends, of course, but they'll never put their friends in front of their family. They know that their family come first. So if a guy is constantly hanging out with his friends, he's neglecting his kids or he's neglecting his wife, then that's not a balanced man. And per Google, that's not the definition of a trait of a good man. That's not a trait that a good man will have. A good man will put his children first, put his spouse first. His friends are there. He's not neglecting his friends, but they will not come before his family. He'll balance, and his friends will respect him because his circle will know that he's a good man. So they'll respect his time, that they'll know that he cannot be with them before their family. So there definitely is a stigma about good men, and there definitely is a stigma. And I think social media has made it where there's a stigma for good men, because a lot of, like I mentioned before, a lot of women don't believe in dating the nice, and most of the nice guys are, they possess the trait of a good man. And there's a stigma to make it seem like those men are weak men, and they're not. They're just good men, and they, they have a certain they have certain qualities that they will not bend or break, because that's their definition. So what do you mean, Rana? What do you mean about that? So I know a lot of us has, bypassed the good men because we thought they were weak. We thought, oh, they're not tough enough. They're not, bad guys. They're not bad guys. And a lot of women live with regret because they have let go of the men who are good men, because those were the men who would treat them like a queen, you know, who would treat them like a princess. But in American society, especially in the Black community, in I'm Jamaican, a lot of these Jamaican men, if you look at them as a nice guy, they're considered weak. They're considered weak if they possess all the qualities that Solomon mentioned. Right. Solomon, real men will talk things through instead of shutting down or exploding. And that is, like you mentioned, emotional intelligence. A lot of men lack emotional intelligence because they don't know themselves. They're not mature. If you see a kid is maybe 10, 11. You see little boys and they just burst out when they don't get their way. They just burst out. They cause a fit. They have a tantrum. So if a man acts that way, what is he? He's a man child. He's a man child. He's not an adult man. And so that's his emotional intelligence. They don't possess that. They need to learn how to possess emotional intelligence where you walk away. You don't just have a tantrum and you come back. When you're ready to talk, you can come back and talk. But emotional intelligence is a good thing. It's a big thing that people need to work on their emotions. You see it in all types of relationship, friendships, marriages, even on the internet. A lot of people lack emotional control because they'll be internet bullies and they'll say crazy stuff. But a man, like a real mature man, they have emotional intelligence where they know that what comes out of their mouths, it shouldn't come out of their mouth. They know what to say and when to say it. They know that certain things they should not say and they won't say it because they have respect for women, they have respect for the public, and they have respect for people. So, yeah, good men, they have an aura that they have an aura, and they just have an aura, and it's hard to beat. But like I said, there's a stigma that there's no good man left, and a lot of women, they look at I would say, the nice guys as weak, and they're not weak. They just carry themselves a certain way. If a man don't have the toxic traits, they consider them weak, you know? If they don't have toxic traits. So I feel like that's why a lot of men will possess these toxic traits, because if they don't have the traits, then they're going to be considered weak. So if they don't possess toxic traits, they think they're weak. And you don't have to have these toxic traits. Like, you don't have to, as a man, you don't have to talk to a woman a certain way. You don't have to um be a womanizer. You don't have to, you know, you don't have to treat a woman how society is saying you should treat a woman. You have to treat women with respect and with dignity, because women are a prize. They're the queen. And so men should definitely treat them, they should treat them with respect and dignity. So that's basically, this topic is good because a lot of women have not met good men in their lives, and there's just a stigma with women saying, "Oh, there's no good men. All men cheat. All men are this. All men are that." But if we say that about men, a lot of us are raising boys. So are we going to say, oh, our boys are going to have those negative traits or negative connotations? No, we have to help them. We have to help them possess the traits and the qualities of a good man. We have to teach them, we have to help them. Fathers have to teach the boys, mothers have to teach the boys, because if we don't teach them, then society will teach them to be the bad man that we're trying to avoid. You know, society will teach our kids, or teach our kids like the bad boys that we're trying to avoid. Okay, so is there a shortage of good men in society? I don't think so. There's not a shortage of good men, because you always hear on social media that there's a shortage of good black men. And is there a shortage of good black men in society? No, there's no shortage of good um black men. I just feel like women's standards are more higher. You know, their some of their standards are unachievable, unattainable. So I'm not telling women to settle, but we still have good men out there. The standards that women are looking for is a little bit high, but I still feel like they can meet that good man that they're looking for. You know, they'll meet that good man that they're looking for. You know, they'll will meet that good man, or you'll meet that good man that you're looking for if you're, you know, I'm not telling a woman to lower their standards, but your standards or your list have to be realistic. We listed about a few traits, and it's you have to your standards for meeting a good guy have to be realistic, because there's not a shortage of good men. It's what your standards are, you know? It's what your standards are and what you're willing to accept. But if you have discernment, you'll meet a good guy, because a good guy will possess the qualities that Solomon and I mentioned. You know, they talk things through, they don't hold grudges, they won't, curse at you, they won't put you down. Will be loyal to you, they'll be loyal to your friends or to their friends. They're loyal to their family. They'll put their kids first. They just possess those qualities, and they definitely will provide for you. They'll support you. A good man. It's 9:14 p.m. 9:14 p.m. What time is it in Nigeria? So a good man will possess those qualities. It's 9:14 in Nigeria. I'm sorry. Here, it's 9:14 here. Yes, I'm currently married, but I'm trying to help men who aren't married to possess those good qualities. And also, if my husband sees this, he could see some of the traits that you're listing. Because, like I mentioned, you can be married, but your husband might possess certain qualities that he have to change. He have to not change or try to curb certain behavior types to become, better as a person. And I think a big thing with Black community, Black men is learn to have emotional intelligence. Learn to have, so 3:15 in Nigeria. Why are you up so late? Or when do you go to bed? So they have to, I think a big thing is emotional intelligence, because that leads into everything. That leads into all the traits and all the qualities that you can possess. All the good traits and qualities. Once you have emotional intelligence, you'll learn how to be loyal, because you'll think about your actions before you do it. You won't hold grudges because you're able to control your emotions and you're able to talk through your problems. You know, that is a big one for me, to have emotional intelligence. Okay, you're up because of my life. What time do you normally go to bed? But yeah, it's good to have emotional intelligence, guys. And I hope you guys really, really take keen in all the lists that we mentioned. I hope you took keen, because we're trying to help all the single guys out there. We're trying to help all the single guys out there. Yeah, but guys, when you come on the live, please try to like it, because the more likes you like, the more people will come on the live and the more we'll have our conversations. It will be from different perspective, but Solomon really hit us with a lot of gems today, a lot of good information. And so normally there's males on the live, and we're just trying to help you. We're trying to help you be good men, because the world needs we need. And yes, we know there's a stigma, because we all know a few good men in our lives. Okay. You do bed at 11 p.m. Yeah, I do bed late too. Right now it's 9:18 p.m. It's too early for me to go to bed. It's too early for anyone to go to bed, but there's people who go to bed at 8, 7 o'clock, but not me. I don't do that unless I am ill or something. But most of the time, it's like I'll be in bed by midnight. But yeah, guys, if you possess good traits and good qualities as men, you can definitely type it in the chat what traits you possess that you think you're a good man, or you're a good man. Not think. You should know. What do you mean? Yes, he's around. He's upstairs. He's here. He's here, but he's okay with me being on live. My husband he's someone who he likes to sit and watch TV, and some of the shows he's watched, I don't like to watch it. Like my kids, we were together, so after I hang out with them, then I normally sit on live, or if I'm taking a break from them, I'll sit on live. But they're here in the house. I always mention that I live with all boys in my house, and then I'm the only female. So being on live sometimes help me because I talk a lot, and they sometimes they don't have time for me, and it's okay. But we're together all day. We were snowed in today, and we all were here in the house. So everyone is around. It's just they're in different spots in our house. We're not in the same room at the moment. Well, my husband is Jamaican, and sometimes he does not like it, but I let him know that I'm just trying to, I'm talking on live, and it's positive. It's not anything negative. So he's getting used to it. He's getting used to it. So we're having good topics. So we have good topics on live, and I do understand. Jamaican men are similar to Nigerian. They're very strict. They're very strict. But my husband allows me to do, you know, he allows me to do whatever I want, because you can't get married and be with a controlling man. You can't have a man who try to control you and try to take away your personality, take away your spark. They try to confine you into being a certain type of woman. As long as you're not inappropriate, then I get it's okay. But he's okay. As long as you're respectful on live, then it should be okay. Thank you. Yeah, I'm normally just on here talking about different topics, and it relates to everyone. Like I mentioned, I have male friends, I have my husband, I have girlfriends. So we talk about these topics on a regular basis. So it's okay for me to come on live to talk to people from all over the world. I do like that. I get a different perspective from you guys and than, my regular circle. And see, you came online and you had all those gems based on the topic that I'm talking about. So that was really good, very informative. That most people, even me, I went on Google and I saw those topics, but you had them ready. So that was a good thing. So the good thing I like about live is that it connects me with people from all over the world, and I get to hear different people's perspective. There's people here too in the US, they live in different states, that I get different perspective, and I have a lot of, people who come on every day, and I do appreciate them. They know who they are, so they come on all the time and we can have conversations about anything. But I share my link on my post, and if people ever want to come on to talk, like for your voices to be heard, you definitely can come on as well, you know? But I do appreciate you, hon, for coming on and talking tonight. We have a snowstorm here, so everyone is pretty much stuck. We're stuck inside. No one can come out. No one can come outside. And guys, please don't forget to like my live as you enter the chat. The chat is very good. We had the live today is very good. It's about the stigma for good men, and we know, if we for the black community, we know there's a lot of negative talk about men, a lot of negative talk about black men. So it's just great. We're trying to say, or basically saying, or I'm trying to say, that it's just a stigma. In reality, there are a lot of good men out there, and there's a lot of good men who will treat their wives, their kids, their friends, their mom, their dad, really great. And they have a lot of great qualities, and I'm sure we have them in our family. It's just the bad outweighs the good. The stigma social media is trying to portray the bad things about black men, and it's not good. So for all the good men, keep up the good work. Did you subscribe to my channel? If you subscribe to my channel, you'll see my lives. Like, you'll see, because normally I schedule them nightly to be on for about an hour. Sometimes it may go on a little bit longer because I'm home, or my kids are, I'll do it when my kids are at a sporting event and I'm out there in my car. So if you subscribe to my channel, then my channel will notify you of when my lives are, or YouTube will let you know when my lives are scheduled. So I try to schedule them based on if I have time, but sometimes the times may change for the day, but I am trying to come on, daily. I do try to come on daily. If I'm unable to do so, I normally will post it, but just subscribe to my channel and then put on the notification bell and you'll see when the lives are scheduled. So, and I thank you because I do see the same people coming on over and over again, and I like that. I like that I have a community, and you know, I hope they stay with me for a long time. So yeah, we have no school tomorrow. So it's like everyone is probably up late. We won't have to get up early for school. So tomorrow the kids will be home all day because it's a snow day. It's definitely a snow day. Yeah, so I would like for all the males that come in to mention what traits they have to be a good man. And for the women who come in, mention what do you look for in a man. Mention what qualities you look for in a man. Because we do see all the good men out there. We do see them, and we celebrate them. We celebrate them. Valentine's Day is around the corner, and a lot of good men will show out. They'll show out for their spouses, they'll show out for their kids, and I know not everyone celebrates, but a lot of the good men out there will come out there, they'll show up and show out. They'll be very much a part of the celebrations, even though some of them don't really celebrate, but they'll still stand up for what they believe in, and they will show out and treat their wives for their treat their wife, you know, special. And a lot of them are good men where they'll date and buy gifts for their wife. So yes, buying gifts for your wife is a trait of a good man. you know? And guys, don't forget to like my live as you enter the channel. Don't forget to like my live. So, we need to know, are you a good man? And if so, why? What traits do you possess to be a good man? I just want to poll of the percentages of good man out there. We know we have them in our real lives, or we see them, and I feel like a man could possess a bad trait, but if he's intentional about changing his ways and becoming a better person, yeah, in the end, that person can become a good man. But certain things stick with us forever. So if you do something very bad, then sometimes it's hard for you to come back from that. If you do something very bad, very malicious, your past will stay with you. You know, your past will stay with you. So if you're a man, please mention, let me know. Let me know, guys. Don't forget to let me know. Type in the chat, or type in the chat to let us know what traits, and if you are not someone who follow the social media, you don't have a stigma, or you have the qualities of a good man, a good person, if you're the male. And we can talk about good women next time, because of course you can't do one without the other. You cannot do one without the other. And guys, if you have a particular topic that you want to talk about, then you can certainly put it in my post, and I will talk about it. I will talk about the topic. If it's something that YouTube won't flag, then I'll certainly talk about the topic. But it's best that, I know sometimes I just take topics off the top of my head, but I know for my followers, I would love to talk about something that's important to you as well. Something that you know, that's important to you, something that I can research and then talk about it. And if you guys are willing to come on my live, then it's fine. It's fine. So please try to answer the poll and type it in the chat. Please do that. Please answer the question in the poll and type it in the chat. Okay, guys, I guess you don't want to do the poll for tonight. I was waiting for you guys to do the poll, but no one wants to do the poll. So that's all I have for tonight. So I will talk to you guys tomorrow. I have another topic tomorrow. Hopefully, we can come on a little bit earlier and I can be on time. But I hope you guys enjoy this topic. Don't forget to put in my post what topics you guys would like, and I will look into them, or put in the comments what topic you want us to talk about next time. Put in the comments for that, and then we'll talk about it. But I do thank you guys for coming on to my live, and I'll talk to you next time. Have a great night.